Hey guys, and welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. Great news, I now have a dock for the Analogue Pocket, so you're not going to see me holding the Analogue Pocket, not so much. You're going to see captures. But May the 12th, a date that we were all waiting for, and that was because Jotego said that is the day we will get the Aliens core for supported FPGA platforms. Now I have a MiSTer and I have an Analogue Pocket, and generally I capture footage on a MiSTer, and on the Analogue Pocket I generally film it. But because I've got the dock now, I can capture the footage directly, and I wanted to capture it on the Analogue Pocket, and it's actually easy peasy lemon squeezy to do that. And I was actually like very surprised. I was actually playing the Analogue Pocket in handheld mode. I slipped it into the dock, the manner in which you drop it into a Nintendo Switch, and bang, it just appeared on my TV. Very impressed with it. So this is Aliens, guys, a game on a Konami CPU. It's actually an 8-bit game, a game that we've been waiting for a long time. Like, this was one of my favorites in the arcade. It was just beautiful, brilliant. I just remember like dark, smoky places, because when this was out in the arcade you could smoke anywhere. I was too young to smoke. I didn't take up smoking until I was older, and I actually gave up smoking about, I think, about 11 years ago now. But this game is so fantastic. I don't know what to call it. An action game. It kind of feels like a belt scrolling beat 'em up. You know, where you kind of walk along and you beat everything, but instead you've got guns. You've got your kind of your horizontal walking bits. Then you've got this boss fight, and this boss reminds me, if you're a Monster Hunter player, of Kazuya, the stuff that's made of nightmares from Monster Hunter. But anyway, you end up shooting his head. He kind of loses his head and he chucks out those psychedelic things at you and just goes a little bit crazy. But this game has got some decent set pieces. Now the next thing is your vehicle comes in. These parts I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't know, I've never really liked these bonus stages. I just see them as something that needs to be done in the game. But this is not, at least for me, a fun part in the game. If this is something that you found fun, then let me know. Or are you like me, you just wanted to pass this, but you always, every time you get close to that girl, she just gets kidnapped. Now, there are two fire buttons in here. You don't have a jump button. You have a top fire, an upper fire, and a lower fire. And I actually played this on the Analogue Pocket, docked with an 8-bit RF stick, and honestly, it played really well. I actually made the buttons, instead of horizontal, I had them vertical. So the button at the top would be the higher fire, and the button at the bottom would be the lower fire. Now, one thing to point out, your normal gun that you've got here, which is before you get any power-ups, it has auto fire, so you don't need to spam the button. Just keep your finger in it. And how can you have a good game without an elevator in there? Most good beat 'em ups have an elevator. I know this isn't a beat 'em up, but it's kind of like a beat 'em up. Just think about your gun as really long limbs. But guys, I'm excited this is out. Now, one thing to point out for the MiSTer, if you want to get this running on your MiSTer, make sure you download the latest JT beta zip on the Patreon post. It's on the latest Patreon post. Grab that, put that in games, in the main folder that's located within games on your MiSTer SD card, and bang, that will get it working. If you just hit update all and you get Aliens from there, it may not work. So just make sure you update that beta zip, because I know sometimes when we get these new games we get excited. I generally scroll right to the bottom to see what is actually attached to it, and then I read the rest of it after, and I was like, okay, I nearly missed that. So maybe some of you guys may miss that as well. So remember, make sure you update that JT beta zip in the main folder for the MiSTer. For the Analogue Pocket, give the updater guys some time. They will add it on there. I didn't actually even check it on the update. I was like, let me just convert them myself manually. Now, I converted all the ROMs, but funnily enough, the main game Aliens didn't work for me, but all the alternatives worked for me. I think this is the US version that I'm running. Now, the boss battles, we saw that boss that I said looked like that monster from Monster Hunter game. This one here is like a rolling ball, and they just look fantastic. Now, as a kid, I wasn't a fan of the first Alien, the movie called Alien, the Alien movie, because it was more talk, more story, less action. I love the movie this game is based on, though, which is Aliens, the second one. I loved it because it was action. It was kind of scary as a kid. Now, I know when I got older, I think the first one's probably the better movie because there's a lot more to it, and it is a great movie. It's just, as a kid, we were allowed to watch movies that were rated too old for us, like 18s, whatever. Well, our parents were a little bit ignorant, so we were allowed to watch it, but I didn't like the first one. I like the second one. But yeah, guys, this is so like true to the movie. I can't remember all the aliens in there, but the ones that I do remember from there, they're in here. They look good. The weapons are amazing in this, and when you pick up a weapon, like I picked up the super bomb, whenever you do your low attack, that's when you fire your special weapon. You can pick up like different bombs, so your high fire will always be normal. If you've got a special weapon, the low fire will do it. You can generally shoot left and right, but in the elevator sections you can shoot up, and then later in the game you get this cool looking suit. Now one negative thing about the Analogue Pocket, and it's not a massive thing, the Analogue Pocket for me was a handheld. That's why I never ever bought the dock. I only bought the dock specifically to capture content, and that's what I'm going to use it for. But this game, because I played this in the arcade, I remember what it looked like on a CRT, and it just looked so good with a CRT. So if you're playing this on your MiSTer, make sure you're whacking some filters on or something, and hopefully for the Analogue Pocket somewhere down the line we'll get the Open FPGA filters, shaders that'll just make it look more like the original. Look how good this looks, and you can imagine with scan lines on, those tormented people in the background, man, they'd look even better. I'm not saying people tormenting are looking good, but hey, this game is a good looking game. And when Jotego said it was an 8-bit game, I just couldn't believe it. Honestly, it's such a fantastic game, so much fun. It's kind of difficult, but I wouldn't say it's unfairly difficult. Like a lot of the mistakes I made, I think a lot of them I could avoid. I'm pretty sure this game can be 1cc'd as easier than a lot of other games. It's an arcade game, so it will be difficult to some extent. Like, I love the bosses in here. I love how the black screen comes in. Like, this is fantastic, and we can expect more Konami games from Jotego and team. But that's really it, guys. I wanted to show off this game because it dropped a few hours ago, and I was like, do you know what, let me make a video. I need to film my news video later because I'm actually going out to visit a friend on Saturday, tomorrow. I usually try and film my news videos on the Saturday, so if anything drops late I can include it in there. But I'm going away. It's like a 2-hour drive there, 2-hour drive back, and I'm going to be there for most of the day, so I can't spend Saturday on the video. So after doing this alien video and uploading it, I'm going to start on the news video. Well, you've probably seen mention of this again. But that's really it, guys. Aliens is out. It's currently a Jotego premium core. You need to be a subscriber. It's currently in beta, so all the beta cores are for premium Patreon subscribers. Sorry, the beta cores are for Patreon subscribers. Now, some of the cores do eventually make it to public once they're fully stable. In fact, this week Jotego's just released, he's made 2 cores public, which are the JT Kiwi core and the JT Combat core. So that's awesome stuff from Jotego. It's always making stuff available for the public, and we should see more games on the Konami CPU as long as work for the Neo Geo goes well. But again, I'll kind of go into that into the news. This is about aliens, and that's what we're looking at without me getting into the news. I guess I've just got a habit of getting into it. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up, subscription, all the good stuff. If you want to get your hands on aliens now for the Pocket or the MiSTer, then consider supporting Jotego on Patreon. The lowest tier is quite cheap, and it gets you access to all the betas. Anyway, guys, I'll see you around in the next video. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.